Hi guys, so today we'll be solving this problem called n queens 2. It is very similar to n queens. Let's read it what we have to do here. So n queens puzzle is the problem of placing n queens on an n cross n chessboard such that no two queens attack each other. Given an integer n, return the number of distinct solution to the n queens puzzle. Okay, so here we have to return the number of solutions which are possible for number of n queens. So in the other problem, which was n queens 1, we had to just find the number of possible solution and we need to return them how they look like representing the solutions. Here we just need to return the count of number of solutions which are possible. So it's very similar to what we did there. What are we going to do is just backtrack through all the solutions and count the number of solutions that is there. So let's do it. So first I create a vector of vector boolean for storing everything on the board. Okay, let's call it false. Okay, we initialize it to false, then I call a function called solve, which where I pass board and initial row. Okay, so the solve function will give us the number of solutions which are possible for the n queens. So we have vector of vector, which is a board first. Then we have the row initialize. Okay, now let's run a for loop. Just like we did in n queens, we need to iterate through every possible solutions. So run a for loop, then board dot size column plus plus, and check if check function. I suppose check is the function which checks if there's any queen which is there in the same row or in the same column or around the same diagonals. Okay, these two diagonals. So this would be checking if there's any queen on the particular positions. So there we need to pass board, row, and column. So if it returns true, so at that time we say row of column is equal to true. And let me create a count variable which will count the number of solutions. So if this count would be given to board and we increase the row plus 1, we increase the row, and when it backtracks we say column is equal to false because we need to identify different other solutions as well. So we need to make the board as it was. So coming to the base conditions, so if board dot size is equal to the row, that is the row number would be equal to the board dot size, at that time we will be returning 1. This will be the base condition that we would have, and then simply from here we will return count. Okay, now coming to the check function, which is an important function which checks all the possible combinations of condition that the queen needs to satisfy or the board needs to satisfy. So let's do that. Boolean check vector of. So we pass the board first, and then the row, and then the column, and we check if first we take out the board dot size and check for every combination of. So we go through every size in the board, which is every row in the board. So for that, if first we check if there's anything in the same row. Okay, if there's anything in the same row, sorry, in the same column, if there's any queen in the same column, then we return false. Okay, and then we check if on the diagonals. Okay, so for that, so this is diagonal, So first we would be telling if row minus I is greater than equal to 0, and board, and also column minus I is greater than equal to 0, and board of row minus I and column minus I is there. Okay, if it's true, then we return false. Okay, if there's anything present on the left diagonal, on the left diagonal, at that time we return false, which is it is for the left diagonal. Then we come to the right diagonal part. We say if row minus I is greater than equal to 0 and column plus I is less than n, and board of row minus I and column plus I is there, then we return false. Okay, so this is for right diagonal, that is row minus I and column plus I, which is if on the right diagonal, to the right diagonal, if we have any queen there, so at that time we return false because that doesn't satisfy the condition that we need to follow. Otherwise we return true. Okay, that's what we have to do. I think, yeah, we are done. The first what I did was I created a board, then I simply backtracked all the possible solutions which are there. So for example, I check if it is possible to keep a queen in the particular row. If it is possible, then we place it, and then we check for another row, and then again and again and again we check for every row if it's possible to keep a queen. And when we reach the size, which is the ending of the row, and which is board dot size, at that time we return 1, and then we backtrack and backtrack, we get this number of solutions which is possible to to, to sort of get number of n queens. Okay, and this check function is very simple. What we do is that we check if there's anything in the same column. If any queen is there in the same column, then we return false. Then we check on the left diagonal and the right diagonal. If there's anything, then we return false, otherwise we return true. Let's run the code to see if everything is working fine. Yes, yes, that is accepted. So I hope you guys understood the problem. Do solve it and do subscribe to my channel and like the video. And thank you. I post Leetcode videos every day. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.